any business is difficult.
Yeah.
And I think it becomes more difficult when you don't treat it as a business. It has been a long journey. So many people we have to be thankful and grateful for our families, our extended families through cyclists in the city. I think the biggest thing I would cherish out of this 15 years till now is the relationships we have built. For many people like Anshuman, he was telling him yesterday that we were his family in Hyderabad because his family continued to be in Bangalore while he worked from here and he was shuttling between the two cities. I think that has been the relationship which he have built. A lot of us are more or less like family, and while I don't think we have made too much money or anything like that, but we have become very rich in terms of the relationships we have built.
I am Venky, a working professional in IT as well as an amateur masters athlete and a coach for endurance sports. You are listening to the Working Athlete Podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, I have a small request from you. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can also let me know what you like and what you would like to listen to more of by commenting in the comment section on YouTube. I promise to do my best to improve with each episode and bring you the best content that helps you and me get better each day. In this episode, I talked to Gokul Krishna of the Bike Affair. The Bike Affair celebrated 15 years on August 15th this year. Gokul is one of the founding partners at the Bike Affair and is an endurance coach. Last week, I was in Hyderabad on a family vacation and I had a brief interaction with Gokul to record this episode. In this episode, I talked to him about the challenges in the bike industry currently and about the ups and downs over the last 15 years of TBA. I also took this opportunity to thank TBA for their support for this podcast. They have been a sponsor of this podcast for the last year or so. Their support has helped me offset some of the spending I have been doing to improve the audio and video quality of this podcast. I wanted to cover more topics like health and lifestyle coaching, etc., on which Gokul is working on. But he was short of hands on that day in the shop, and I was also busy with other family commitments. So we saved that for another day. However small it may be, it is always a pleasure to interact with someone like Gokul. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did.
Hi, Gokul.
Hi.
Welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast again. Um, and congrats on the 15th anniversary of the Bike Cafe. What a tremendous journey. And I still remember the day it was, started, inaugurated as such, with a stall in the Freedom Ride, right? Back in 2009. It was near Hightex or somewhere it was the ride was starting, and it there were a few bikes that you guys kept. Krish was there, and we did this. It was I remember it was 69th Independence Day. I'm not
Of 1947 to 2009.
maybe
Yeah. Of 62nd.
62nd. Correct. 62nd, and we had a 62-kilometer ride, Freedom Ride, and I actually, surprisingly, I finished first in that because I sneaked off. Shay was there, and all these guys. They stopped when they were having fun, and I said, "Oh, no, I need to finish." This was because I started just 1 year before. That time, enthusiasm on my Hero Hawk thing. I treated it. It was a freedom ride, but I treated it as a race.
Yeah.
But yeah, great memories there. And the first store was in that cement go down on the road.
Uh,
No, it was operated out of your apartment, I think.
yeah, thank you for having me again on the podcast. Yeah, no wonder you remember the starting because you finished first. So, actually, the first place of operation was a apartment not too far from here in that was also in Kondapur, that used to belong to one of our colleagues called Amit. So actually, me, Amit, and Krish started Bike Affair together, but Amit kind of pulled out, felt it was not something that he would enjoy. So he kind of withdrew from that association very quickly. He continues to be a very good friend, though. Of course, he's in New Zealand, so we are not in frequent touch. So that was the first place of operation.
Yeah.
And after a couple of months after we tortured Amit to the hell because his hall was converted as our store. So it got onto him very quickly. I think in a couple of months we were moved to that cement go down this road. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I visited that place, the godown, and one of the first mechanics was Krishna.
Yeah, he was the first.
He used to hang up.
Mm.
And if we used to be afraid of switching off the fan because it was
Correct.
it was still there. And then you moved to this place
Yeah,
a few years.
yeah, maybe a couple of years in. So that was in 2009 August, right? So I think 2011 early part, around February or so, is when we came here. So,
Yeah, amazing. 2010 December was when I moved to Bangalore, and then you guys moved into this place a few months later. I mean, 15 years, man.
yeah, I mean,
Yes, and to be honest, this is not an easy business to be in. From what I have seen, over the years. But you guys have managed to put many bikers out there, bikes out there, many happy bikers out there. And you guys continue to do amazing work for the community. The community rides, Sunday biker signature rides, stuff like that. Tours with the Barnaul Adventures and all that. I mean, you guys have done a tremendous job.
yeah, any business is difficult. And I think it becomes more difficult when you don't treat it as a business.
It is a passion.
Yeah. So, yeah, it has been a long journey. So many people we have to be thankful and grateful for our families, our extended families through cyclists in the city. Even yesterday, like one of our old friends and customers, he came down, and I think the biggest thing I would cherish out of this 15 years till now is the relationships we have built. So his name was Anshuman, and Anshuman is actually based out of Bangalore, and he had come to tour of Nilgiris in 2015.
Yeah.
We had ridden.
Yeah.
So I had forgotten that we had originally met there. So he was telling that, and subsequently the next year he took up a job here in Hyderabad, and his office was just 2 buildings away from our Jubilee Hill store. So whenever he got stressed in work, he used to come down. And anyways, that store wasn't that busy, so he used to come and chat, and so for many people like Anshuman, he was telling in verbatim yesterday that we were his family in Hyderabad because his family continued to be in Bangalore while he worked from here, and he was shuttling between the two cities. I think that has been the relationship which he have built. A lot of us are more or less like family, and while I don't think we have made too much money or anything like that, but we have become very rich in terms of the relationships we have built. So,
Absolutely. That is so true, because the fulfillment that those relationships, those the wives, the goodness wives, that uh, is invaluable.
correct.
You cannot measure them in money. Uh, although you have to make enough to survive,
Yeah. Yeah.
otherwise you would not have been in continue to survive for 15 years. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I wish many more such years lie ahead
Mm.
of putting more riders out there, putting more bikes out there, putting more smiles out there.
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent. So, what would you say? Are the biggest ups and downs you have seen over these 15 years?
Uh, so let me see the ups first. So uh, the I think the in terms of overall what we wanted to provide to the community and what really gave us satisfaction was providing value. Now, I think whether it was knowingly or unknowingly or very naturally, we have always graduated towards that in different ways. So, initially, for example, it was just about suggesting bikes, the right kind of bikes, maybe suggesting the right kind of sizes and stuff like that. But as the market matured and more people started riding and they had more clarity around that, and the knowledge base increased, it moved more around other areas, and we also graduated along those lines. For example, I started helping people around the 2015 tour of Nilgiris, is when a bunch of us were, about 10 of us from Hyderabad were coming for tour of Nilgiris, and I had been helping people with training, but never really looked at it as a more serious thing. So then two of those guys approached me to train them properly, to help them get there, and so I got into coaching. Similarly, Krish had a natural inkling towards bike fit. He got into bike fit, and actually the 2015, immediately after the tour of Nilgiris, we, I think, did our first commercial tour.
Yeah.
So what has happened is we have always moved upwards in the value chain, and going back to putting more smiles on people's faces is what we have been working towards, and we have realized that those additional satisfaction comes when we are doing things correctly, and we are providing ensuring that people are enjoying their rides. So that is ups. Downs has been like, especially I think, and definitely it has to be understood very carefully. In a way, the bicycle industry significantly across the world benefited from COVID, though it was a very bad period. It was not good for the human race as such. But if we have to take a good thing out of a bad thing, it significantly improved the perspective of people towards health and living in the moment, I would say. So I think that significantly contributed to more people getting to cycling. So, and as a result, all across the world, the industry benefited. So these two I can see as some of the two big benefits. There have been challenges all across. To an extent, whatever goes up has to come down. I think there was a very tough period just prior to the COVID onset. That the early part of 2020 was a tough period, and actually COVID changed things. Similarly, I think in the last few years, where all of us knew that this is going to happen, I think the industry across the board has taken this extended demand for granted. So, and we all messed up with regards to the supply. So the supply chain has flipped on the other side. So we have excess supply and lesser demand. So to an extent, we are riding that wave. We all knew that this is going to happen. Some people managed it better than the others, I would say, but nobody in this industry has perfectly got it right. So it has been a challenge that way. And so what that brought in was, we have always been somebody who has prided ourselves in doing things correctly and going beyond the call of the regular stuff to do just the right things, irrespective of money. But at the same time, we never wanted to sell because of cost. That is become a big challenge given what things are now. So it many times questions your values. So in some ways it's two sides of the same coin, in the sense that the values we had and the values we provided to the customers is what I would say has helped us sustain, has been very satisfactory. But at the same time, tough times challenge that a lot, right? So yeah, I mean, even today, for example, this morning I'm dealing with a certain situation wherein there was probably a slight miscommunication about something somebody bought, and immediately my thought process is, if that understanding is incorrect, or if we have unintentionally or made a mistake in conveying the wrong things, without looking at what will be the financial impact, I would like to help the customer correct. So we have always been doing that, but now somehow we are not very comfortable when we say that we will give a discount when you sell a bike, right? I mean, it's not that we don't want to give a discount, and we are also, when we give a discount, we are we don't do it very smartly in the real sense of the word, in the sense that we do it across the board. We don't do too much manipulation or something like that. So sometimes those are challenged. All right. So even in those tough times, when you know that you may lose a sale for something trivial, but just because of what are the values we hold, and to knowingly let go of those sales, and when it is tough and when it is going to matter, is hard.
That kind of puts your values and everything in question. You yourself will be like doubting your story. Is it like worth sticking to those? But you know the answer.
Yeah, the true character comes there.
Great, man. So yeah, I mean the bicycle industry as a whole is going through that oversupply issue. I think there will have to ride together for a few more months, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you will get through there.
Yeah. Things have already started turning around, and thankfully for the bicycle industry, especially around the south, where given our weather conditions, this is usually the starting of the good riding season. So which corresponds with the better sales forecast also.
Excellent. So yeah, like you said, value that you are providing, not just putting bikes out there, with kind of the coaching side of things. Maybe the weekend rides and the signature rides, or even the tours. I was part of one such tour earlier this year with friends. We what is the Thailand tour, Mae Hong Son challenge. Oh man, that is like out of the world. The kind of hospitality that fish brings you to. He's like, oh, that's, something else.
Yeah.
He finds the most, hole in the wall kind of places, which surprise you so much with the kind of delicious food that the kind of routes that we take. Wow, that was that 650 kilometers of blue was amazing. I don't know how all the states also were very planned, like activities that around he planned around that. I could not find time to do anything else. So just enjoying the ride, enjoying the food and all. Just it was an amazing experience. I'm sure that, other tours like Meghalaya and all that also is doing an amazing job. So the value that you guys are putting, adding to the community is amazing. Continue to do that. I'm sure you will find new ways to add value as well. But I also would like to take this opportunity to thank you, the Bike Affair team, for supporting this particular podcast. You guys have come on board as sponsors for the podcast about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been no questions asked. You did not ask how many reasons, how many days. You understood what we are, I'm trying to do with the podcast, and you were on board with it with me. The great thing is you yourself offered to come on board as this thing, and I was only thrilled to accept that help. And it has only, like you said, your equipment is becoming more, better. That is largely thanks to the support you guys are giving. That is what I am spending support on to make this the quality of audio for the video better and better. But I really appreciate the kind of support you guys have been doing. You are celebrating 15 years the birthday, so I'm celebrating 4 years of this podcast. 200 weeks we have done. This weekend is going to be 200th episode. This episode that we are recording the 201st episode.
Wow.
So I really appreciate the support that you guys are giving.
I'm so glad that we have been able to help you. I think to a large extent, it is also the fact that I was there in that position, and I remember approaching some people for the podcast that I used to host before, and the first question that came is, how many views do you have? How much money I will, or what is the takeaway for me? There's no harm in asking that, but then I didn't have much to say. But at the same time, I realized that certain things needs to be done. So, and I was seeing that you were, your consistency is amazing, and I don't think I am doing anybody any favor. So the cycling community needs to know what is happening inside, and you are the voice of the cycling community, and you have been doing that consistently every week for 200 weeks, which is more than 4 years. So that is amazing, and that needs to come out. So I am very much, we exist because we are part of the community, and that is something that the community enjoys, and if I am able to contribute my share, I'm more than happy. Going back, sorry for taking a little extra time, but you were asking what is ups and downs. So when you were talking about Krish and the way the tours are, again, we all to a large extent, I feel that Krish was born to, to do something like this. In fact, like everybody has their perspective or their reasons why we start. Now, I think we covered that to an extent in the previous episode. And while I was a very more boring, practical, matter of fact kind of guy, so looking to reduce weight or things like that, get better, and I always liked vehicles, and I wanted to be on my own, and this fell in line with that. Krish is his eternal enjoyment of life is food and travel. And I think when he got introduced to cycling, he realized that travel through cycling gives you a very different perspective. And I think we are just grown up kids, or probably not grown up enough. so to a large extent, it was also to satisfy our own quest for fun and joy that we did it, and that was Krish's rationale for doing that. And I think it took us that from 2009 to 2015, while he had done many of these tours ad hoc, very simplistic, non-commercial, with friends kind of things. 2015 is when we actually turned it to offer it as a proper service. And I think when somebody thoroughly enjoys doing something, you can see that. And that is why, even though, for example, Krish, many times it doesn't make sense how much time and money he spends on recce. For example, Meghalaya's
Crazy, man. I mean, most of us, for the kind of charges he does and the kind of offerings he made, pushing, what are we making all of this?
Yeah. And it is a very tough job, no? Like, for example, even some of our friends and all jokingly say Krish is enjoying. But the fact of the matter is, when you're doing those recce all alone, it is very hard. It is very hard, and it is like this guy was in Thailand after 3 months. He had done a recce comeback last year or something, and under some context we are talking about rabies, and he was saying, "Oh, is rabies that serious?" I asked why, what is the issue and all. When I was in Thailand, I got bit by a stray dog. And I don't know what happened to the dog, and I am very scared of dogs. He is not. So he said there was a stray dog. I had stopped somewhere in the wilderness. I mean, in some rural area, and this fellow came and he looked at me and he just bit me and went. And he was in Thailand. He did not take any shot. And he told me 3 months later. Then I said, if something had to have happened, it would have happened by now. No use you're taking it. So I think to an extent, if this has given us an opportunity to do something we really love, and especially in the case of Krish, I think the way he organizes the tours and the way he enjoys executing them. Again, some people just like to go on tours. There are very few people who like to travel for themselves as well as organize it and give that experience to others.
Yeah. Like I said, it is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it is boring. Yeah.
If you go on your own, there is not much work, right? It is like you are enjoying, you are doing touring, but if you have to organize it for someone, so you have to take care of so many things.
Yeah, you are when you're doing the recce, you are doing on a shoestring budget. You're trying to save every penny. You are trying to eat the cheapest meals. You are trying to stay in the most basic accommodation. Whereas when we actually organize a tour, it is the exact opposite. So yeah, I mean, but it is amazing. So that is why, even though initially I used to crib a lot about the kind of recce, but the more I talk to people like you, because there are very few tours wherein I can join Krish, because somebody has to take care of the store as well. So, but in those rare occasions, and whenever I speak to people like you, and I am more convinced that what we are doing is the right thing. So that's why, I think the beauty is that this has given us an opportunity to do something we enjoy. So we are grateful for that.
Even after the Thailand tour, right?
Mm,
He flew from there itself to Vietnam
correct.
to repay for that tour.
Mm.
And at that point, he was away from home for more than 5 weeks.
Correct.
And continue to be on that job to make things, make sure things are in place for the next tour, and
Correct.
it requires a different kind of madness, passion.
Correct. Yeah. And it is very stressful as well. No, so much travel, and it's very unpredictable travel as well. So,
Amazing. I again keep doing the great work you guys are doing. And, thanks again for continuous support.
yeah, thank you, Venky. Please, congratulations on your 201st episode and 4 years. It is amazing cadence if I have to talk in cycling terms, and I wish your cadence never drops.
That was my conversation with Gokul. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying these podcasts and are finding them useful, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to it on YouTube as well as on your favorite podcasting app. It really helps. Thanks again for your continuous support. See you next week with another guest.